Howdy everyone, Casey LaCourse here with another featured showcase of Books of the West. That's right folks, Books of the West. I have a lot of friends that are published authors, and I like to present a platform for them to show you their books that they have, and maybe you'll get interested in them and purchase them. And this month's showcased author is Leslie Breen. Now Leslie is an award-winning author from Colorado, and we're going to present Journey to Sandcastle. This is a great read. I'm halfway through it and I cannot put it down. She has everything in this book. She has romance, suspense, drama, animals, and displacement of a little orphaned girl. And she decides to pack up and take this little orphaned girl to meet her grandfather, and the grandfather is not aware that he even has a living relative. So it's quite an interesting read what happens to Tess. Tess is the main character, and she winds up on a ranch owned by a widower, and let's see what happens to Tess. What is she going to find there? Is she going to find... It's a story of survival, conflict, romance, and maybe forgiveness. So it's really, this is a great read. I'm fascinated by this. And what happens to Tess on this journey is amazing. And I'd also like to say that Journey to Sandcastle is dedicated to the victims and survivors of Hurricane Katrina, and to the survivors of all natural disasters who have overcome with renewed spirit and courage. Great book. And I'm going to turn the showcase over to Leslie Breen now. She is an award-winning author, and let her read a few snippets out of this great book. And this book is available on Amazon, and I believe she also has 5 other books. So, Leslie, tell us the story, and we'll see you back here in a couple of months, folks. Stay safe.
Hope you enjoyed the reading today from Journey to Sandcastle. You can find it on Amazon.com in softcover for $9.95, or an ebook there for 99 cents. Also, you can go to Barnes & Noble. So I'm wishing you the best in reading. Good morning, I'm Leslie Breen. I'm an author of Western, contemporary, and historical women's fiction. And I'm here today to introduce you to one of my books that have been published on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. But first I want to give a thank you to Casey LaCourse for inviting me to join her on her Hearts of the West showcase. It's a great honor to be here. I really love Western poetry, music, and art. And so today I'd like to introduce you to Journey to Sandcastle. It's the latest of my, most recent of my novels. And it is a Western inspirational contemporary romance. I also want to give a thank you to my friend John Chandler, a musician, songwriter extraordinaire, who wrote the foreword here, and I'll read you a little piece of his Spanish Peaks. I had a dream last night as I lay beneath the pines. I dreamed of home and family there beneath the Spanish Peaks. On the trail from Santa Fe, where plains and mountains meet, and the rivers rush through canyons, and the air is fresh and sweet. I carved my life in granite. I let my roots run deep. I found the only peace I've known there beneath the Spanish Peaks. And also, I would like to give a mention to the late, great Bill Barwick, who allowed me to use some of his lyrics from Carolyn in the Sunset, which I weave through the storyline, and it all fits into the story as it goes along. So as we start chapter 1, it's Monday, August 29th, 2005. Wailing wolves That was the sound of it. Then louder, like a mammoth jet hovering in the turbulent skies. Katrina. Tess Cameron stood riveted behind a boarded window of her empty Jefferson Elementary School classroom. Peering through a crack in the boards, she saw ragged rooftops and debris hurled through the streets. A shattering sound from the floor above her sent chills along her arms. Shards of glass whipped past the window like jagged missiles. Showing no mercy, torrents of rain beat down from the angry sky. She imagined other parts of the city near the levees where floodwaters would climb quickly to heights above a man's head. Her skin flushed clammy to the touch. Her legs went weak beneath her. How high would floodwaters climb here? She didn't know how to swim. Fear pumped her heart like a sledgehammer until it felt like it might pump right out of her chest. Hours later, a gray, watery silence smothered the city. Tuesday, August 30th. Tess rubbed her eyes, gritty from lack of sleep, and faced the tide of new evacuees streaming into Jefferson's gymnasium. Wet and bedraggled, their bodies as well as their spirits were devastated by the deluge. Masks of anxiety covered their faces. Now homeless and separated from their families, they had nowhere else to go for shelter but here. It was a miracle the two-story school was intact, perhaps because it was built of brick, built to withstand strong winds. Although all types of litter covered the grounds and several windows on the second floor were shattered, the interior had not been flooded. "Can you help us?" A young woman with disheveled brown hair and haunted eyes hurried toward her, a toddler straddling one hip. On her heels followed two young boys and a small almond-skinned girl. There was something familiar about the girl. "Over here," Tess pointed to cots set up against a gymnasium wall. "You can have these. There are blankets and some snacks for the children." The woman's face crumpled. "My cousin is missing. Her car was washed away. Can you all get any information about her?" "I'm sorry. We haven't been able to contact the local authorities yet. You know, the power's out." Tess stopped in mid-sentence. A rambling explanation would not make this anxious woman's situation any better. "What is your cousin's name and address?" She slipped a ballpoint pen from her clipboard. "I'll pass it along as soon as I can." "It's her mother, Carrie Pearl," the woman said in a low voice, referring to the small girl with large red-rimmed eyes who hovered behind her. "They've been living with us until she could find a place." A strange tingle darted along Tess's spine as she jotted down the information. "Carrie's a teacher here at Jefferson, isn't she?" "Yeah, that's her girl, Crystal. She doesn't know what happened." The woman shifted the toddler in her arms. "I haven't told her yet. I don't know how to tell her." Although Tess didn't know Carrie well, her reaction to the bedraggled child now climbing onto one of the cots was one of immediate sympathy. "And what is your name?" "Winona Bingham. My husband's in Houston looking for a job." She glanced around at her two boys, their grim faces revealing the nightmare they'd lived through. "I wish we could have got out with him before the storm hit."